Senate Resolution 403, expressing support for the designation of October 14th, 2025 as the National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk.
I ain't really come for the kiki. I be focused on the paper like a cheat sheet. I be pulling up with pies like a
Hello, friends. Welcome back. I see Lizzo decided she didn't need you fat bitches anymore. On today's episode of Kory Explains the Universe, Kory will be discussing Charlie Kirk. Hi there. My name is Kory Stewart, and today we will be discussing Charlie Kirk. Now, you're either of the mindset that Charlie Kirk was the second coming of Jesus Christ, or he was a racist piece of shit neo-Nazi. The truth seems to be somewhere in the middle. To be honest up front, I am not a Charlie Kirk supporter. I did not watch Charlie Kirk videos. I did not watch Turning Point USA. I did not go down the rabbit hole of watching a conservative white man argue with 18-year-olds on a college campus because I have money to make and things to do and fuck. Why?
I don't know how to say it properly.
I think I can help.
But then he died because he got shot in the neck, of course. We all saw, right? I don't wish death on anyone just for speaking their opinion. However, I do not empathize with anyone who chose not to tell their full story.
You shouldn't have been talking shit.
Now, I saw when he died all of the clips about the DEI and the black people, and I wanted to immediately attack it, and then I jumped online and did research, and it turns out a lot of it was out of context. For example, the video where he's yelling at the person, he's like, "Shut up, chink."
Charlie? I live like a capitalist every single day, Chank. I live as a capitalist. Okay.
Out of context, that looks insane. That's the first video I started with. I said, oh, this will prove he's a racist piece of shit. And then I looked into it, and it turns out he's yelling at the guy from the fucking Young Turks.
Come on, Chank, let's go.
Charlie, what are you doing? Take a seat.
And even that moment led to the guy from the Young Turks having a conversation with Tucker Carlson where they agreed on things.
I wasn't on stage. I was in the crowd. And he yelled at me, "I live like a capitalist every day, Chank." By the way, some people then thought that it was a racial slur. No, that was just my name. He was just slightly mispronouncing it.
To be fair, if you were a Charlie Kirk fan, you'd understand the entire context of his body of work. So when he said something about DEI or something, you would understand that he's not necessarily directly Ku Klux Klan pointy hood racist, which is very true from what I've seen.
I'm here because
I'm not feeling anything towards you, actually. Okay, I'm not prejudicing you, I'm not stereotyping you.
He even went out of his way to help this black man who couldn't articulate his point well, so Charlie did it for him.
I knew this can be very intimidating getting in a crowd like this, so just take a deep breath. I'm gonna make your argument for you, and I'm gonna tell you why I think it's wrong. Okay?
Okay, yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so there's legacies of injustice.
Yes.
And that those legacies impact one generation after the other. And when those things get handed down, you have what is a system or a systemic issue that isn't just isolated in 2024. So the argument that you're making is that what happened in 1954 does impact 2024 of decade after decade after decade. Let me tell you my response to that. Of course, there is some truth to that. However, every culture, every person in this audience can point to issues that families or generations prior had that we're able to overcome.
Proper context to Charlie Kirk is necessary. Taking clips out of context is very easy for the mainstream media and social media to take and say, hey, we just gonna show you this part. Oh, it's bad, right? He said fuck. He said fuck the Jews, when really he was saying fuck the juice maker. See, it's how it works. Full context is always needed in everything, including in Charlie Kirk's arguments. Here, he explains what he thinks is wrong with the black community and what we're really missing.
I look, as an outsider, albeit, at current black culture, right? From the athletes to the rap music to the music, I don't see the nuclear family elevated. Nor is it an internal black cultural expectation. The problem is that it's a cultural norm that has then turned into the cycle of poverty. The cycle of poverty can break very quickly if fathers stayed with the women they impregnate.
But large majority of these fathers are ending up in prison. Like,
okay.
This is
good point. Why do you go to prison?
Because because you commit crime. But
Okay,
because
yeah.
It's not because they just committed crime because they wanted to, Charlie.
They seem like they're making it cool to be drinking lean and syrup and.
It's the most dangerous. It's the most
and
dangerous
and-
thing that's facing our society.
Are you?
So why sign an artist that would promote that? You're saying the
It's
opioid problem's a problem.
opportunistic.
Yeah.
I got people to feed. I got a business to run. I don't know what to tell you.
And I know the white people are going to say, oh, here they go again, blaming the white man. When are you going to take responsibility? I know. I've heard it. I understand. And I minusculely, partially agree. To a degree. But I also understand the proper context. So let's explain what happened to the blacks and why the blacks do this and that and blah, 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 blah.
For instance, during slavery, they used to take the biggest, strongest slaves and breed them and try their best to make big, strong super slaves, okay? That's right. That's right. And there's evidence of that today, like the NFL, for instance.
And what do you think they did with the smart ones who could read? Okay, fine. Let's stop talking about slavery. It was so long ago. What else you got? We've done nothing to you since, black people. We've been so kind to you ever since slavery ended, right? And there's a lot of those situations where black people, away from white people, got themselves together, created businesses and communities, and white people came and burned them and drowned them out and ruined them and murdered everyone in the town. So at this point, every time that the slave learned to read, you got killed. And then when you started your own business, you were doing better than us, you got killed. And if you came over here when we told you not to, you got killed. And if you tried to integrate, you got killed. It's been continuously beat into black people over the years that, hey, being smart will get you fucked up. Okay, so fine, we get past all of the rare occurrences where white people decided to murder all the good deed black people. So now, can I live in your neighborhood? Oh no, I can't. I'm not allowed.
That the legacies of redlining from that moment to the present meant that black people were subjected to other forms of exploitative lending. Not only that, the very communities that they lived in suffered from divestment, including the lack of grocery stores, the lack of businesses, the imposition of federal highways that often bisected their communities. In every way imaginable, the consequences of redlining to many black and brown communities across America meant that those communities had the least and the last of everything.
And that does something. And then you have the war on drugs, and that does something. Using that context would require empathy. And he's clearly not a fan of empathy.
It was all about empathy and sympathy. I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage, but sympathy I prefer more than empathy. That's a separate topic for a different time.
There's nothing wrong with empathy. Empathy allows you, hopefully, to see life from another person's perspective and to empathize with them and to try to make their life better because you understand what they could be going through. Sympathy is more like, homeless man, I'm sorry that you're cold and hungry and dirty and stink. I pity you. Now I drive away. And then as far as the DEI hire goes, he argues that the idea behind DEI is to put less qualified people into roles because they're minorities.
When you practice DEI, because that was your main point, right? You are rewarding bad culture. You even acknowledge it. You are saying that someone should be there based on the color of their skin. We say skin color doesn't matter. If you want that position, work harder, study harder, and then you might be able to get that position.
Well, that's not what DEI is and or was about before your orange Jesus took it over or ruined it. DEI was about minorities receiving opportunities for the talents and skills that they had. There were plenty of stories where someone with a black sounding name like LaQuisha who went to Harvard would apply for a job and they wouldn't get a call back because it said LaQuisha on it. And they just made up an assumption of who they are. So DEI was this idea of like, well, listen, you can't just keep picking the white people. I've gotten the education. I've got the experience. At least look at me. So it incentivized companies to possibly look elsewhere. You know, diversity is actually very nice. Remember when the Gap put out that little monkey sweater or whatever the fuck it was?
An image of a black child modeling a sweatshirt with a "coolest monkey in the jungle" slogan is being called racist.
Had they had a black person in the room, I bet they wouldn't have done that stupid shit. Proper context to the story that you're telling, Charlie, would have been nice. Where did the black men go? You killed them. Where did the black men go? You discouraged them. Why is the black community full of crime? Poverty. Why don't we fix poverty? Republicans. It's very simple. And do not mistake this as a Democratic scream, because Democrats are retarded. They're both retarded. Picking a side and then arguing with the other so vehemently that you just won't listen to reason. Both sides are fucking stupid. However, Republicans are evil and stupid. I've never seen so many poor people enjoy being fucked. It's crazy. And to the black people who support Charlie Kirk because you're conservative, which is fine, I have no problem with you being conservative. However, if you are watching a person that the KKK also watches and goes, he's got a point, you might be fucking up. Find someone else who's conservative but doesn't talk out their ass. If you're going to talk shit, at least provide proper context for the things you're discussing. If you don't do that, I have to assume that it's for a reason. And for that reason, Charlie Kirk, fuck you. Your death brought out the worst in your audience because they were already terrible people. It's like money. Money just makes you more of who you are. If you were sucking dick, poor. Look out, Charlie Sheen. I started this video with the interest of shitting all over racist piece of shit Charlie Kirk for saying all those horrible things about minorities. And it turns out when I did my research that was not exactly who he was. He didn't come off completely racist, but he did come off very selective in the things he chose to discuss and what those things empowered his audience to believe. It's very easy to have an agenda and decide to just say the things that support this. I could have easily done stuff completely out of context and continued with the chink thing and all of that, but I didn't want to be wrong. It was more important for me to see all sides, to empathize with the other side of people who feel a way about a thing that I may not agree with, as opposed to just proving a point to my audience and stomping the ground, because look at me, right? White people, come on everybody, fight back, white man, fight back, white man, fight back. And so black people did not really care about Charlie Kirk dying. Minorities celebrated, liberals definitely celebrated, and conservatives cried and went to a rock concert where his wife was Shawn Michaels all of a sudden. And to the conservatives, if you think people celebrated when Charlie Kirk died, just wait until Donald Trump dies. So until next time, please love your neighbor, empathize with them, get full context on things, and properly educate yourself.